Yeah, well, so I play rugby union. I'm a scrum half, so I'm a skill position. Need to have a lot of finesse in my game, a lot of quick footwork and explosiveness, and a lot of athletic ability. And I came over here and I was having problems with my hips. I wasn't very loose. I wasn't very agile. And so I talked to Speedy. I'd seen his work online, and he worked with me the first few gym sessions. He kind of tested out how deep I can go in my squat, how quick my feet were, how mobile I was. And he tailor-made a program for me for the past 2 months to increase my hip mobility and my overall core strength and explosiveness. And it's been a very, very personalized one-on-one program. He's really put a lot of passion into it. And honestly, it's helped me to learn a lot about myself and how I function as an athlete. And it's really been a beneficial process so far.
Yeah, sure. So what we did with everyone and what we did with Nick in particular was we just sort of saw what basic primal movements he could do. So at Realfit we base all of our sessions off primal movements, and with athletes we go a little bit further because obviously he's going to have to do a lot of things as a scrum half that someone from a different sport or from a different position in his sport is going to have to do. So we went with the basic primal movements first, made sure that he could squat correctly, which is crucial to his hip mobility, and made sure he could basically do all the normal movements, lunge, press, jump and everything. And then after that we started really honing in on the different bits and bobs that he needed to do a little bit better. So he now moves around as well as you'd hope anyone should in order to make sure they're healthy and they're not breaking down their joints. And now, because of the hard work he's put in, we're doing little bits and pieces. So just a little bit more stuff on hip extension or rotation and just nitpicking really.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just my passing overall, to be honest, you think it's not something that really matters when it comes to lifting, but so scrum half passing from the base to the floor, and my delivery has increased and the ball speed has increased as well because I have more power in my hips and I'm able to open my hips more, so my pass is much more accurate, much quicker of a release and much more zip on the ball. So obviously very crucial for a scrum half, and it's really helped me out so far.
So when he came in, he could get to more or less full depth of his squat, but it was painful basically. So he had almost full range, but it was kind of very difficult to get into. So he almost had to ease his way into it and then ease his way out of it. And obviously that's not something you can afford to do in a rugby game where you've literally got a split second to dip down and then pop your hips. So we did a lot of stuff, opening up his hips with some band stretches and then just getting him to move through those positions more easily. And you can sort of see how it's paid off on the pitch, because now he can dip down, grab the ball without having to ease his way into it, and he can flick his hips around to get into the ball. Whereas before he was having to sort of ease his way into it or cut his pass a little bit short because he couldn't get that full hip extension.
Yeah, I think that people often overlook the warm-up and the movement prep, for their workout. I think a lot of people squat and get stronger, but you have to keep in mind that, an athletic movement's not just one component. It's got to be different components blended together. And I think the movement part is practicing, how it actually works. You can have all the strength in the world, but if you haven't practiced how to make the movement for your specific sport, it's not going to work. You're going to be uncoordinated and you're not going to know how to do it. So it's just that repetition of getting used to your own body, getting comfortable making those athletic movements. And I think it's really square one. I think the strength comes next, but I think the movement's first, and that's something I hadn't realized until I came here.
Hurt me to say it, hurt you to say it, and maybe Nick a little bit, because obviously we do take pride in what we do in the gym. Your skill work is first, which he shows. I've been to training with him a few times and he'll be there half an hour early to do some passing or to stretch off his hips, make sure that he's running around properly, and then he'll stay for half an hour, sometimes an hour afterwards, just pass after pass after pass, making sure the skill's there. Then after that you kind of need basically just good mobility, because if you've got the mobility to move around through different positions easily enough and it doesn't take too much effort, which it did with Nick's hip before but now it doesn't, then you don't have to think about, when you're going down to dip into a pass, oh, you know what, I'm going to have to really ease into it and then flick the pass away. Being mobile and being able to move around easily means you can literally just think of the end result, oh, so I need to get this ball from there to there, right, let's do that. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to have to ease into it and then go for it. And then after that, it's strength. So it's almost sort of like a pyramid that builds up. So you've got the skill at the top, which is your end goal, and then you've got that sort of mobility second, and then you've got the strength in your body third, and that strength sets the base so that you can work on your skills, and obviously that's what we've tried to do with Nick. We've tried to build up his strength, build up his mobility, so it allows him to practice and get better at his rugby, and that's what he does at training, and we just facilitate that.
Yeah, as I said before, Speedy was very, very individual, very personalized with me, and he put a lot of, personal time into understanding who I am as an athlete and as a person. And I had the benefit of knowing Speedy from before, from a rugby camp. So I knew him a bit on a personal basis there. But honestly, as a trainer, he really makes the effort to get to know you. He texts you in the off days and asks how you're doing. He asks how your game went on the weekend. So he cares about who you are as a person, and he puts that extra effort forth, and that really shows in the gym because he can push you further there because you have a connection to him. He's someone he's someone you respect. And he says, do one more set, do one more rep, you do it. Like I was saying, that personal interest, that passion for it, which I think Speedy really has. There's the technical knowledge, and there's the overall structure behind this program. So Speedy's very, very organized. Obviously, the spreadsheets that he sent me are very detailed. They have everything listed out by day and by movement stats, so speed work, mobility, power, whatever it is. So he's very organized in that sense, and then he's obviously very passionate about what he does, and he puts a lot of his effort into it. So I think that's the main three.